All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the DPS podcast. Last time we did one of these was in like 2 months ago.
And Clay's finally back.
And Clay's finally back for a podcast. It's, uh, so we'll save the killing time for a little bit later, right? We'll explain that. Introduce
Jesus
yourselves.
Christ.
There's gonna be a lot. Need to be a lot of context
we'll
for that.
we'll do it in one killing in 30 seconds. All
Yeah.
right. So anyway, today I'm joined with Ravi, Aryan, Joshua, and Clayton. Welcome back,
Hello.
Clayton. How does it feel
Hello.
to be on
It's
another
been
podcast?
forever. I'm
He's currently doing a thing called
no. We don't
Called,
talk about that. We don't talk about that.
oh
The real question is what's the conversion from like Killian seconds to like quarantine hours? Because you almost missed your own podcast.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk about that?
so quarantine run faster.
So, at the date of recording, right, we scheduled for a podcast to be, what's the date today? The 22nd, right, at 3:30. And, I thought today was Thursday. So when Ravi messaged me asking if we're still on for the day at 3:30, I got very confused. I was like, what do you mean today? It's tomorrow. And then I looked at my clock. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it's Friday. Like, ever since quarantine started, my concept of time has completely gone off the window. Because, like, my life basically revolved completely around, like, my schoolwork. But now that my semester's done, I have nothing to, like, measure, like, what day it is of the week. Except for, like, or, like, obviously I could look at, like, a calendar or something like that. But, like, that, like, internal sense of, like, oh, today's, like, Monday or whatever. That's gone.
Yeah.
There's something
I
similar,
keep
but
forgetting.
I
Same.
use the calendar now to like schedule things for myself so that I don't lose track of time, even if they're like not really like events.
Yeah, I should
Oh, I
start
just
doing
set up
that.
what I have to do every day, so I don't mess
Yeah.
up.
Like I think I missed homework like 3 times this quarter.
Same.
But when like the initial transition to
Clay, did
quarantine
you
school,
register for your classes?
Yeah, I already did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, my problem is like, like everyone's phone is like the thing that they'll like put stuff on, but like I don't look at my phone like a huge amount of time, especially when I'm home. Like
My laptop.
when I was like
Uh,
at school on campus, like I would like use my phone a lot, right? But I don't really look at my phone that much anymore. So like I need to find another way to like schedule stuff for myself.
I
Well,
just
you
still have
have-
mine
you have a
on me. I
laptop,
just
right?
don't.
Yeah. Huh?
I use Google Calendar.
yeah, you can synchronize
School-
I'm
calendars.
probably gonna do
Yeah,
the
I'll probably
same.
have to do that then. Like, I don't know, because the other thing is like quarantine has got me super lazy. Like,
Same. Actually, you know what? I think it's doing the opposite for me. I've been doing a lot more.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've become more motivated to watch more anime this quarter.
nice.
We're all watching.
Not
I have
lazy.
my own 10 projects that compete for my time, but and so I have more time to work on that, which is nice
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
school and then maybe one other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when I was on campus and stuff like that, like, during that period of time, right? Like, my YouTube channel, like, however small, I didn't really do much with it. Like, I maybe uploaded like, I think one or
Well-
two videos throughout like, probably 3 videos, like while I was like actually on campus doing school stuff. Then like now that that's come off, outside of those like 2 videos that I posted or 3 videos I posted kind of recently, like I haven't done too much stuff.
Yeah,
because,
my one video.
yeah, I have a backlog of like different like games and things I want to watch, so I've been mostly like doing that.
Oh, I haven't uploaded since like September of last year, so I mean you're all doing better than me.
But you're doing animation, so it's like.
Oh, I kind of
that
like
takes, like,
stopped
forever.
doing that because I started doing like programming instead.
Yeah.
And I made like transition my channel to like more like programming oriented just because I can actually motivate myself to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a good
versus-
idea.
Just because the animations, it's like they take like 6 months to make.
Yeah.
And that's just not
Yeah,
that's
they're
just
very
not
well
you
done.
know
So yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube
And then the
algorithm.
last one I
haha.
did, it took 2 weeks to render. I'm like, okay, I just cannot manage that anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no, what you should do, you should become like you should do like futuristic hub.
Oh
Make
my
those
god.
awful
That's
animations.
like the definition of factory animation, where they just like churn them out as fast as possible without giving any thought to like quality.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Cause what the channel that I'm using right now is initially a channel that I made with another friend that I had to make like different like animated things, but like animation very difficult. Like I prefer to do my stuff like 2D, hand drawn every frame, right? And that's a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of time. And the other thing is like whether or not I think that like I write up a script of like is this good or is this not. If I don't like the script, then I won't continue onwards, right? If maybe I do like the script, I'll draw out a storyboard and I think is this something I could feasibly do by myself, and is this something that I could like you know will end up being good because I work alone now. I don't want to have that friend. I don't work with that friend anymore. So like when it comes to like animation stuff, the first like few uploads I did was like all that, and then I transitioned to do more speed art stuff, right? Where I was talking, I realized, hey, I really like talking uh, over stuff. I really like editing that stuff. So now I've like pivoted my channel from like purely animation stuff to where I just kind of like talk about things, whether it
Other thing
be
that
yeah.
yeah, keep going.
Oh, whether it be video essays or like reviews of like games that I've played recently, and I kind of want to start like reviewing other stuff as well.
Like fan fiction.
The thing that was demotivating me was something I call the garbage floor, which is especially for 3D, it's the kind of spot you have to hit from where it stops looking like garbage and starts looking good. And for
Mhm.
3D, the garbage floor is kind of high.
Oh
Like if you
yes,
notice, like 3D looks like
Yeah.
absolute, like looks horrendous until it suddenly looks good. And but before you get to that point, you're basically staring at garbage, all the time, and that's quite demotivating.
yeah, no, I know what
Yeah.
you mean. Like,
I understand that.
uh, talking about like anime and stuff like that, right? CG is something that's used a lot.
Oh my
We
god.
meme about it all the time, right? Like bad CG in anime, right? But the thing is, good CG is really hard to do, right? And I think that's something that people kind of don't realize so much. Is like, oh, it's like with the computer does it for you. It's like, okay, it does it for you to an extent. Like, the thing is, like there's a really like I guess lifeless, plastic kind of esque look to a lot of 3D animation that isn't like uh, like to a certain quality.
Especially TV stuff.
Yeah, especially like you watch TV stuff. I think that's a good example of it. Like it doesn't. It all feels like kind of lifeless, right? Like you know, the motions of the characters could maybe even be the exact same, but it doesn't have the same life as if like you were to animate it in 2D hand drawn. Like even just 2D like computer assisted animation 2D, I think looks a lot better, just because like I guess it's like a more human aspect to it.
I
Like
remember what there's a couple of things because combining CG with hand drawn is actually hard because the garbage floor for the 3D is still there.
yeah,
Um, and also one thing you'll notice is that when computer generated stuff stops moving, it looks dead, versus when hand drawn stuff stops moving, you kind of don't really notice it, which is kind of how like if they did like anime as like 3D, it would probably look horrible. If they used
yeah,
the exact same style, but they like realistic rendered it.
yeah. A lot of like CG animation or stuff, CG stuff in anime doesn't look really good, right? That's everyone's like, oh my god, it's all bad CG and whatever. Yeah, like good
There
CG is kind
are
of hard to
some
do.
exceptions.
There's some exceptions, but the vast majority of CG
Yeah.
stuff is like not very great. So anyway, should we start shifting into how long has it been? It's been 10 minutes. We still have 20 minutes before we talk about killing time. Because I said we're gonna do it killing 30 seconds. So we have another like 10 left or 20 left.
Has
So
anyone else found it harder to concentrate with the remote schooling?
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like COVID remote schooling. Yes, most definitely. I think that like a large half, like us, a large portion of that has to do with like the environment that you're in. Like, people kind of like underestimate like how much like the environment, your environment will affect like how you work. Like that's right. That's a reason why I feel like a lot more lazy. Is like I'm in my room, right? Like this is normally where I'm in to like relax and stuff like that. So when I was doing work, I was like,
Much more distraction.
yeah, huh. Opposed to like when I was on campus, I went into the studios and I'm like, well, I'm gonna work and try to get everything done. Now it's kind of like I'll do it later, or if I'm doing, I'm like I'll cut more quarters than maybe I would have. Like like that's definitely for me. I don't know about you guys.
Well,
I
just
would,
especially when the subject matter is boring, that makes it even harder.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I would say like it depends for me because I think certain aspects of it are harder and certain aspects of it are easier. Because like for example, if you're a commuter student, right, which I am not personally, but like if before you lived off campus, the amount of commute time you spend every day actually going to and from class actually takes up a lot of time, right?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
in that aspect, it might be easier for a lot of people, but like for me, I'm not a commuter student, so I do have more time, but I usually just spend that time doing nothing instead, right?
Yeah. Now
And I don't
when
think like online classes just engage people in the same way. You have to put more of a personal effort into actually communicating with teachers and professors, and also like office hours, stuff like
yeah,
Mhm.
like I know that because I've there's a period of time where I was looking for off-campus housing. Yeah, I was about to say the city. I prefer not to say the city I would be in. Uh,
Mm.
I was like looking for apartments that were like not only like fairly cheap but also nearby like my school. So like that was like what was most important to me, that I could like easily like even just walk there, like because the commute
that.
I have
time.
to commute across my across the campus because my school is split into two campuses, and so all the engineering stuff is on the campus that's too far away to walk to. So there's a bus,
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
and the bus takes 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. No. No.
Oh,
I have
yikes.
something like that too. So, my school is also a two campus thing, except it's across two different cities. So I
Eh,
have to. This year I was really lucky. I was able to get all my classes in the city that I was living in at the time. But next year I'm not that lucky. Um,
How long does the commute for like the bus take from one like you were to that place?
um,
it's gonna take like 30, 40 minutes.
it's 40 minutes at the latest. At the not the latest, at
At
like the
least
shortest, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Um,
it's just traffic rush hour.
yeah.
But you also said like the buses were unreliable as well or something.
Yes, the buses are also kind of unreal. Like the
Like I
teachers
remember,
are
yeah.
yeah, the professors are pretty chill about it, right? Because like the buses are always like they're almost always late by a little bit, which is super annoying. Uh, so like what is it? Because I had a one of my classes had this one person that always commuted from the other city, and they would always be late at least like 5 minutes. Like, I mean, it's not like it's not always like super bad, but it's definitely there. It's definitely annoying.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, at my school, the bus arrives at like 7:30. It arrives at 7:30 and it's gone at 7:31. So that's both good and annoying.
Yeah, you got to be on time, but at least it's like they don't spend so much time there.
Hmm. Have you guys heard about housing for next year already?
Yeah, I have.
I think I've seen some information about my school where apparently, because we have two options for fall quarter, where you can either go to campus or you can still stay like you can still do virtual like online. But apparently, if you choose virtual fall, you're no longer guaranteed housing for winter and spring,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, man,
Well,
like come on.
the idea is probably people who are doing remote are probably like living at home or they're living somewhere else.
Yeah, but like the thing is, we're unsure whether remote is still going to be offered for spring and for spring and winter, right?
Oh,
So
oh
like,
yeah, that could be a
what if
problem.
you stay home because it's more convenient and all your classes are online, but then you have no housing for the next 2 quarters, so yeah, you're forced to basically find a place to live on campus in like 2 weeks or something, right? So it puts a lot of students in like bind, I would say, but it's temporary information.
Yeah.
Yeah, my school hasn't given really any information except for Yeah, we kind of think we maybe are gonna do normal instruction in the fall, whatever that means.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna happen, but
Well, but they also procrastinated to plan last time, and so
that's
they're probably
true.
doing it again.
Well, so did my
Alright.
school.
I'm back.
All right, yeah.
Lots
So,
of
for my school, housing is open. I've applied for housing, and I've gotten like confirmation that I should have a room aside for me because my school is a private school. So the way that we're going about it is we're going. They call it hybrid classes, where part of it is online classes, and then like bi-weekly or something like that. Maybe like half the class will meet up, and it's an art school, so like it's pretty small classes. It's like 5 people that will be there, right? Like 5 people will meet up with the professor in like a classroom or something like that. So that's why I've tried to like get housing. The other thing is, normally you'd have to. Oh my god, I'm looking at my ping right now. It's so bad. I think my upload speed is tanking.
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot.
Yeah, my upload speed's been really bad for my internet for the past few days. I don't know what the problem is because I could hear you guys fine, thankfully.
Yeah,
Um,
that's your download.
yeah, but the housing is I don't know how the payment is gonna work because I do want to have that housing because like it's gonna be because again it's hybrid. We're still meeting like in person, which is kind of annoying, but like it's gonna be like I think one person per room. Where normally it'd be like, oh, this is like a doubles room for 2 people. It's gonna be one person for that, and I hope that they don't change the pricing for it because that'd be super annoying.
hmm
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing though, is that dorms and other classrooms are basically like the most optimal, spaces for the virus to spread. And we've
Yeah.
seen how like people who like deny quarantine they got there's only like a handful of people out there, but they like all get infected, and it makes them
Yeah.
ill. And so if you imagine that on a massive scale where you try to bring a college back together, it's just gonna spread like
Yeah,
wildfire.
just any kind of school in general. Like the thing is
It's
like
gonna be sad.
yeah, like coming out of this, the world is gonna be completely different. My upload speed is
Yeah.
10 gig again.
Well, I mean, what I kind of expect my school to do is what Joshua's is doing, where you can like opt to go to the campus or not. And they may, because for things like engineering or like lab stuff,
You kind of
they
need
don't
to
really
be
have a
there.
choice. You kind of have to go there because what else are you gonna do? You need a lab. But for people who are in like um, majors or tracks or they have classes that don't require lab hours or meetings or any kind of that type of work, they could probably just do the whole thing remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 'cause again, I go to art school. I feel so bad for like the sculpture students that are at
Oh
my
yeah.
my school. Like, what do you to do? Like, you need space to do stuff like that. It's quite unfortunate.
You can't bring it with you because it's fragile, right? Especially that's the things like lab experiments and things like that. You have to suspend all that, and you can't always suspend it in the middle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like yeah, it was like because my school didn't really handle it very well either. Like we were going about it like we're right before we shut down the campuses, everything was like going at it at the same like pace, right? Then like suddenly it's like online classes are what's happening now. You guys could go if you want to. You'll get refunds on your housing and whatever. Like it was like it happened all so quickly, right? Where like even the like professors didn't have like a lot of time to like switch things over. The classes I was a part of, like I could pretty easily do that stuff online. But again, like I could see for like outside of art school, right? Like so much stuff on like classes. It's like how are you gonna do that online?
hmm Yeah, it's gonna suck. It's probably gonna last a very long time too.
Like
What keeps happening is it's a cycle. So the
Yeah.
people basically it's waves. As we've noticed this where the virus kind of spikes and a whole bunch of people get infected, and then it kind of starts tapering down. People think, oh, it's safe now. They go out again. They spread it again. It spikes up again, and
Yeah.
it's not. The spikes are not getting are not getting smaller every time. They're getting more, which isn't a good sign.
The thing is, like,
We
things can never, like, go, like, quote unquote, back to normal until, like, a vaccine's developed. That will be in early, so, like, a year, right? Then even then
But then you also have to
afterwards.
give the vaccine to people, and they have to develop immunity to it. So you have to kind of like, I mean, especially in the U.S. And in first world countries maybe, but that's still going to be a very slow process. But in countries that have less resources, that's going to be tricky or impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, the world is not going to be the same coming out of this. Like, so much
Yeah.
stuff is going to be different. Um, like, the way that, I guess maybe even, like, the way that we interact with other people. Like, I
Mess
could see a lot
forever.
less, like, a lot less physical contact, uh, I'd imagine.
In many ways, we're lucky that it's only COVID because after all, it only really affects people who have pre-existing conditions. Like the virus or the disease that is creating the lockdowns could have been a lot worse.
Next polio could have been that
Yeah,
instead of.
it could have been like a highly infectious polio or something.
Yeah, that would have
Those
been
Yeah.
are
not
all
great.
possibilities.
Yeah,
And
like,
because the
Yeah.
world has kind of gone into this lockdown state, it makes it a lot harder for a hyperpolio to develop.
yeah, like, yeah, it could have been a lot worse. Like, the disease could have been far, far worse for, like, public health.
Like, yeah, remember the bubonic plague that killed a third of Europe?
Oh, yeah. Like, that's, yeah, thankfully it's not something like that.
Or the Spanish flu that killed more people than World War One?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like,
96 million or something. I forgot.
it's insane. It's wild. Like, I mean, even, like, outside of, like, personal life and stuff like that, so much, like, in terms of, like, trading and stuff like that has been, like, impacted. Like, the stock market's been constantly, unemployment is,
Wait,
like, spiking
unemployment.
up. Is that, like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
at 30% now?
It's I think it's like approaching that of the Great Depression, if not past it already.
Like within like 1 month, it has erased all the gains from since at the end, or like from 2008 all the way to today.
It's
Yeah,
only 15.
Well,
It's
and the worst
15%
part is
right
that
it's
now.
only
it could have
50%.
all
Okay.
been avoided. It could have all been avoided, but because of mismanagement, it's a lot worse than it should have been,
Michael
honestly.
Burr.
I mean, the biggest problem right now is, like, with a bunch of places reopening. Like, this is going to be an expectation for a huge next wave happening, right? Once
Yeah.
more places are reopened.
Oh, they're gonna reopen. It's gonna spike. They're gonna close, and then wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Except they don't wash because this is a virus.
Like, one of the biggest
Yeah.
problems, I think, is, like, in terms of, like, the unemployment situation. It's like, the problem's still getting worse. Like, to this day, I think more people are applying for unemployment.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing is, like, a lot of people thought this would be, like, temporary job loss, right? It's looking. I think a lot of, like, economics experts are saying at this point, like, it's looking that this may become permanent job loss. For
Yeah.
I think it
Wait,
was.
what did you say? You cut out on my side.
Oh, I heard talk that, like, the unemployment situation that's happening right now, right? It was compared more to, like, that of, like, a natural disaster, like, when, like, a hurricane hits or stuff like that, unemployment's gonna strike you out. You can't work for obvious reasons, right? But, once everything gets, like, re-put up, everything's cleaned up, like, most people can get their jobs back, right? A lot of the jobs that are being lost right now appear to, or people are starting to believe, may be permanent job loss, that you're not going to be able to just go back to work.
To an extent,
Because people are going to be
they're
spending as much as they're spending normal, like at the end of last year and all that, and they can't create jobs for.
Yeah.
What's
people
really
who are-
unfortunate
yeah.
though is that this hurts the most the like smaller local businesses. Like, Amazon can take this easily,
Yeah.
but a smaller local, grocery store is not going to be able to handle this. And so while we've kind of already been like seeing the sort of, massive corporatization of everything, it's just going to get accelerated when either corporations will buy up these things or they'll just go out of business and get replaced.
Yeah.
Yep. Big sad.
And like I try to avoid ordering stuff from like big massive things, but that may become impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
Never mind. Never mind.
Like for example, groceries. It's like really easy to just go like Whole Foods or get it on Amazon, like
Oh
Pantry
yeah,
or
yeah.
for Target. Like get into the actual grocery stores that they don't have delivery is like it's also like a risk. So like you kind of have to rely on the bigger companies, anyways.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah,
also affecting other less obvious things. For example, my sister is doing driver's ed. You can't do
Oh,
in-person driver's ed anymore.
yeah, huh?
Oh.
And so the
Yeah.
company that we were paying actually went out of business.
Oh,
Oh
really?
wow.
Damn.
Dang.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, like, huh. Like, and it's absolutely wild what's happening right now.
Yeah. Never thought this would happen.
It also affects people who are the most vulnerable in terms of jobs. Like if you think of like high tech and stuff, those can all work remotely. But someone who washes dishes,
Yeah, like,
Ooh.
they
yeah,
have
yeah,
to be there.
people, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like,
Food service
yeah, food and service,
Any
like,
service job really.
for any like it's called on the ground, a low level like retail and all that stuff. Those get ruined.
like, again, like, uh,
Like manufacturing also goes down. What
like, so many
else?
people are losing their jobs right now. And,
The shortages.
yeah, unfortunately, like, when you come back, like,
Like even
chances
meat
are.
plants are going down too.
Oh yeah, because of like different infection, right? Different cases being shown up, right? Like a lot of meat plants are starting to close down. And I think right,
Really?
like workers are also because
Oh, because of the. Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot
yeah.
I
I
forgot where it
remember.
was, but like I think almost 30 workers were like tested positive in the meat plant, and I believe they were almost all asymptomatic. Uh, like
Well, but the problem is that even if you're asymptomatic, you're still
yeah, you could you
everywhere you
still
walk,
spread
you're
it.
still
That's the
shedding
problem.
virus everywhere, and so that
Yeah, huh?
doesn't that still makes you have to quarantine.
Yeah, huh? And the biggest problem I think is like testing isn't like super widely available, right? Like
Yeah, and
It's
that's one of the other problems was that like all of all of our medical reserves, they were maintained until 3 years ago, which is not a coincidence.
yeah,
mhm.
like it's a disaster. Let's transition a little bit away from all this
Killing
depressing
effort.
Let's stay
talk.
away from politics.
Yeah, like I think that's probably the most political we'll get in a while. I think, and this works perfectly in time because it's killing 30 seconds later. It's 30 killing seconds later, which has been half an hour. So, Ravi, we'll explain this to you because you weren't there for this. Um, Joshua, Arian, Killian, and I are. Or, by the way, I don't think you guys. Killian is one of our friends. It doesn't matter too much. Killian and I, we've been like streaming anime together, right? And we're currently been watching SSS Gridman.
Weebs.
So I'm like, right. There's four of us that are like watching it, so we have to get all four of us together. Um, and like we're trying to get everyone on, right? We had Joshua, Arian, and I. And I messaged to Killian like, "Hey, do you want to watch the show? We have three of us together. All we need is just for you to come over." And he goes, "Oh yeah, sure, just a minute." And it takes him an hour to get into the call, an actual hour, right? So we're making a joke. It's like, oh, killing time is like 60 seconds slower, right? And what really does it is three of us together again, and we say, "Hey, you want to watch the show?" And he says, "Yeah, sure. I'll be there in an hour and 43 minutes." Right? Hour and 43 minute passes. He's not there. Offline. Right? So I send a message to he's like, "Hey, are you still down tonight?" Just doesn't respond. Offline. Like for the next 2 days, right? So that is gonna transition over to a little bit over 60 hours, right? We calculated, right? We multiplied that time, and it's like 2.5 days on the dot. 2.5 days later, Killian comes online after being offline for like those 2.5 days. He's like, "Yo, guys, what's up?" But the night before, like I called him on his actual cell phone instead of like through Discord because I'm like, is something wrong? Has something happened?
Has he gotten corona?
Did something happen? Because he's like normally online for like a decent amount of time. Like even if his PC's just on, right? I'll say he's on, but it was just offline constantly. So now we have a joke where it's like, oh, if Killian says like, it's gonna take him, X number of minutes or whatever. It's 60 times, whatever that is.
True.
Pretty sure Killian has done this before in the past too, but
No,
we
okay.
finally standardized the time conversion.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah,
Killian,
See,
we
mathematically proven to be 1 Killian minute is into a normal hour.
yeah. So like, I
what's
love
our
the guy.
R-squared value?
That's
I
our
love-
easy conversions.
Yeah, I love the guy, but oh my god, is he so bad at like responding to stuff?
It's funny. It's just funny to me. I just like I'm watching you guys. I'm just in the room with you guys
Mhm.
in Discord. And you guys like, okay, let's watch this. We'll just wait for Killian, and I'm just sitting there for like a full hour, and he's
It's
not.
not just at the timing that like me and Killian join and leave the call is just like
Oh my god. And the other thing is like Arian and Killian were like on and offline, like at different times. Like they were never online together. Like what is it? We're sitting in the call,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
waiting for
that
him,
was
and then
funny,
Arian's like,
bro,
"All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna go do something." Like 5 seconds later, Killian joins the call, and we're like, "Are you serious?"
Not gonna lie, you
You're,
two
like,
make
perfectly
scheduling a
offset.
nightmare.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like okay, so we've chat on Clayton in the past about like
Oh yeah.
his time to like commit and stuff, but at least you will respond to the messages that we send you. You'll say like,
Thank
Yeah.
you. At least I'm not a psychopath.
yeah, we're like, hey, you want to do something, and you're like,
Not
nah,
yet.
no, I don't really want to do
Not
it
yet.
now.
Not yet.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, you know what? At least you responded to what we said,
He's up
It's
front.
unknown when later is, but that's still an improvement.
but we know that it's
No,
not
no,
now.
Not
Killian,
today,
Killian,
maybe
not
tomorrow.
today, maybe tomorrow. But Killian, like, what is it? I asked him, is like, hey, do you still want to watch it? I had to get a response from him. I had to call him on his phone. Like,
Didn't he say? What was the first thing he said when he answered?
he goes,
was like,
yo. I'm like, Killian, I thought you were dead. Oh my god.
We still haven't finished this show, by the way.
We were gonna do
2
it
more
yesterday, but like,
But
you
fine.
know,
You know,
we have like 2 or 3 episodes left.
yeah.
I want to finish
So
that show.
how many Killian days will it take for you to finish the anime?
if I have to kill
Killian was here. Killian was here yesterday.
But we didn't. Why did we not watch it? That's right, because Ari left.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, have you ever seen Ari and Killian in the same room together?
Exactly. This is what I've been saying.
They're the same person.
Dude,
With the same level of responsiveness.
I was about to say a joke, but I don't think I should say that.
No, you shouldn't. No, I know what joke you're gonna say. Don't say that joke. Okay, if we do want to talk about curse things, we could just keep on explaining stuff that we've been doing to Ravi, who has you haven't been hanging around the other Discord. So
Oh
much.
wait! Like
Yeah,
last
because-
night?
Yeah, you wanna talk about last night?
Time is like perfectly offset. as
I don't
yours.
think we want to talk about last night.
what? Wait, what happened last?
Oh,
We could
The
talk about
stories.
last night. We don't have to go
Alright,
super into depth
well,
about
they-
last night.
of a row.
No, I think I was. I always think I was just in the Discord.
Yeah, I mean you were there, but Ravi wasn't.
Oh wait, I was there. Oh, okay.
No, I think
I was
you
maybe
were, you
playing
were
while
there.
listening to the stories. Were you there?
I don't know. Okay, maybe it'll catch on when you start talking about it.
Okay, how about we like just
Go-
kind of
go
give
ahead.
them the overview? Like we don't talk too much about like the specific things that we saw.
Sure, just yeah.
But
Do
the
you wa-
specific ones are the best ones.
Well, Josh.
But-
Okay, Josh, do you want to explain this?
And that we got.
Nah. Be my guess.
No. You gotta explain why we looked it up, and that's it.
Oh no, I don't think I'll say that for the
Maybe-
recording.
No, we-
Okay, yeah. Well, we will tell
I
you
can pick someone.
here. I'll explain to you the setup for it. We could tell you more about it off recording.
Just ask.
So,
Ju-
this starts actually like this whole like thing starts. What is it like last year, when we were still in senior year. Joshua and I showed a class and we were reading this one book, called Grendel. And
Wait, it's actually from before last year because the book
right.
before All's Quiet on the Western. And also Great Gatsby.
oh, okay,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's a yearly thing.
it happened before last year then, where it's
That was
one
great.
book
No.
that we all had to read for One
10th
of our years, 10th grade. Was it 10th grade when we did this?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Which book was it? Because they probably
Wait,
read it as
10?
well.
Yeah, all quiet was in 10th grade.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
yeah,
You're
All
right.
Quiet.
Holy,
Yeah,
oh my
we read
god,
that.
we're
We all,
boomers.
I don't think anyone didn't read that in 10th grade.
So, what is that? In Gatsby, I think it was, where it's like
Gatsby
it's-
was in-
I forgot
yeah.
who proposed the question, but someone
It was
said
probably me.
it's okay. It's probably
It was
Joshua.
probably me.
And he goes,
Okay.
I wonder
probably
if
wrong.
there's fan fiction written for All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, that's something I would say.
And the short answer is yes, there is.
Oh, this was a long
I mean,
time ago.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised at that, but obviously there's more to it than that.
There's
Yeah,
more
so-
to it
so
than that,
that's-
but we're not going to describe it to you while I'm
So,
recording.
that's the setup. So recently, in my literature class, I've been reading the New Testament. You know, a wonderful book. You know, 10 out of 10. It's one of the best fictions I've ever read. But, you know, last night I posed the question about a specific a topic of Bible fan fiction. You know, we just had to search for it.
Okay,
But-
why don't we describe what the topic was, Joshua? Why don't you describe it?
What words do I use to describe this? Okay. So you guys know, the mother of Jesus, Mary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know how Mary was married to Joseph, right? Except Jesus isn't the son of Mary and Joseph per se, because Jesus is immaculately conceived, right?
It's like heavenly rape or something.
I think it was consensual, but yeah, more or less. So the question I posed, how do I explain the one word in there, Ethan?
It's like a cuck thing.
Yeah. So was Joseph cucked by God?
So you went to Google researching that.
No,
I'm
we went
just
to
saying,
archive
all
of
the
our own.
signs, all the checklist has been fulfilled. He is a cuck.
So
Wow.
now the question was, so we established that this is true, but now we have to establish whether someone wrote fan fiction about this.
He even raises the child. It's not even his.
So
Thank you.
we went onto a website called Archive of Our Own and searched for it. I think, did you find it? But it was in
we didn't-
Spanish.
No, we didn't find it. The Spanish version was Old Testament.
Oh, disappointing.
Yeah, but that one was weird as well.
Don't do it. Don't, if you're listening to this podcast, you've made it this far, just don't do it. Don't look
Yeah,
at
you
that
should
website.
write it for us. You know,
No.
No.
I'll read it.
People at the website. Now
No,
you're
bring it
telling
to your
people
Bible
not-
studies.
Not to visit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't. Just don't. Just don't do it. At least don't look at Bible fan fiction.
There's a lot of it.
There was like what, almost 500 different.
Yeah.
It was listed as like 490 something.
I'm kind of
Fan
surprised
fiction.
there isn't more, but I'm pretty sure there's more. There's more of them tagged with Jesus.
You searched it only on that one site, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one website has like the worst ones. Like, there's only like 3 like big like fan fiction sites I think that still operate. Like fanfiction.net is more tame, I want to say usually. Like Archive of Our Own is just a dumpster fire.
We've sound.
It's a nuclear dumpster fire.
It's so cursed. It's incredibly cursed.
And
Like,
that website was like all the way back to like 1995.
Yeah, we
That's-
found the oldest one was from 1995, I think. For the Bible in particular. I don't know if it goes any later.
I mean, we found a wizard one.
Oh yeah, Wizard 101 fan fiction.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Posted yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Well,
The
now
timing
it's
of
2
your
days
search
ago, I
was
think, right?
immaculate.
Well,
Okay,
but-
so Archive of Our Own was actually founded in 2008. So I guess the 1995 one was probably migrated from a different database. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, fanfiction sites acquire each other, and they just kind of merge into this
True.
increasing pile of like cursed content.
yeah, it just layers of degeneracy.
Someone went to the time and energy to migrate and merge those data sets.
There's got to be something good on there, though, right? Like, there's like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
amount of
There's
different like
something
fan
good.
fictions were on there. There's no way it's all like bad. There's got to be at least something passable.
Like obviously, like writing fan fiction probably inspired someone to actually write their own book, and you know.
Oh yeah, you know
Well,
how like
yeah,
a bunch
that
of different
happens a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
The longest piece of English literature is like a
Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Yeah,
fan
Super
fiction.
Smash Brothers Brawl.
I'm pretty sure. I like watched this YouTube video about how like one of the young adult like book writers started off writing Harry Potter fan fiction, and one of the ones they wrote was I think like Ron X Ginny or something.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, like what is it? It's like how a bunch of different manga artists start out as
They start out as
We'll leave it at that.
I mean, it pays the bills.
I
Does it?
that it does.
Yeah.
wait. When you
Yeah,
told
it
me
does,
about
it
the
does.
the Shokugeki mangaka, I was surprised, but then I thought about it a little bit. I'm like, no, that
It
makes
makes
sense. That
It
checks
pays
out.
the bills. It pays the bills.
People pay for that stuff.
It sells.
Yeah.
Sells more than normal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that.
So
So Joshua,
what? Whoa. Ooh.
Let's
Anyways,
go on to the next topic. You know, let's look back at little topics of the week stuff. You know, remember what we said that we do this weekly, and then we did it for 2 weeks, and then we just stopped.
arms.
2 weeks is probably the minimum you have to do to consider something weekly.
Yeah. Do we want to do this weekly again? We could do this weekly. I think
don't think
now.
enough-
Oh yeah, we
Weekly or
Does
bi-
enough happen in 2 weeks to actually merit
Maybe
this?
an
Every
hour.
other week.
Every other
I
bi-weekly.
don't think enough happens in 2 weeks to merit this.
Especially since the world is
Maybe
so
like
down
monthly?
because of COVID.
Maybe.
Monthly?
Yeah. We could talk about this later. Anyway, the next topic.
Because if you want something like weekly, then it's like you have to go to a certain topic that usually gets updated more every time.
Yeah, I guess that we could try to. I don't know. We could talk about it a little bit more later.
Yeah.
The only thing that we'd be able to do, but weekly, I think at this point, because school is ending, is like what we're working on. But you have to actually have like worked on something that week for that to work.
Clayton could talk about his YouTube videos.
Video.
What
People-
YouTube videos?
It says-
The YouTube video singular. I could
Yeah.
talk about my 0 YouTube videos.
Yeah, you know what? Do you want to tell us about your process a little bit on that, Clay? Or
But on the
On the
video?
or-
like
yeah.
on your videos, yeah. Because that's something that I don't think even I know. Like, how do you like start at like going at, or how do you start with the
Okay.
video?
I mean, I
guess.
can talk about that. I mean, all right. It's kind of it's different every time. Usually, it's like sometimes I look for the music first. Sometimes I just record and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good footage. I'll use that. Footage.
Oh no, Josh was already in.
Porridge?
Porridge.
Porridge?
Somebody
Um,
touch him up.
Quarantine food?
Oh, yeah. Okay. We can talk about this after. Keep going, Clay.
Transition.
Wait,
Wait,
am I still going?
Yeah.
Take
Still
your
go.
time,
Still go. We'll talk about
Alright,
quarantine food afterwards.
Obviously, this doesn't end at porridge.
Yeah.
Or
So
does
then I
it?
make the porridge,
It also
and
goes
then
back to
I start
porridge.
editing.
So Clay, are you saying YouTube video is like making a good dish?
Oh
Should
no,
be
I don't.
yucky.
I don't want to use.
So like, do you decide like what game you're gonna make a video on, or do you like play a game to
It-
decide? Oh, I want to do.
I
a video
think
on
it's more healthy if you just like play games and then while recording, and then being like, "Oh, that was a good recording. I'll use that." Instead of being like, "I'm gonna do a video on this," and then
It's more organic, right?
yeah, it's more organic, especially for casual videos. You just want to use, like with commentary with friends. You definitely want to just do it when you just have a good recording. You don't want to force the video out.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see
He's
that.
such a natural at playing games now. He's been playing Rimroll for the past 2 hours while we're doing.
No.
He's probably playing
I'm not
Rimworld right
playing
now.
Rimworld right now.
As we record this.
Oh my god.
No, I'm not. I totally am not getting rated.
Wait, let me look at your hours.
It's,
Oh no.
it's been a
Why are
lot
you
now, right?
hating
He's been
on-
playing that constantly.
Why are you offline on Steam?
He always
It keeps
it
doing
sends them
that
out.
by accident. Here, I'll sign myself in.
So when you edit a video, like how do you decide like what to do at each stage? For like
Like each like kind
He
of
just
like
adds
Each
memes at every
section of the
stage.
video. I mean, yeah, it's not just you're not just sticking memes in. Like I don't think you
I
are.
think he is just
Well,
making memes and
No, but
it's
you have to like
it
choose
requires
locations,
more
right?
thinking. Like you can't just like be like. Sometimes that big brain, like while I'm not even editing, I'm like, oh, that'll be so good, and I do it, and it usually is good, unless I mess up badly or I'm stupid. But
Clay, you know how like Pyrocynical's like MLG videos have like aged like poorly?
no, they age so
Aged
well.
like
They age
milk.
like fine wine.
Fine wine. What do you
Uh
think about your videos? How would they age?
oh, I hate my old videos.
Yeah, I know my videos definitely have aged like
Cheese.
strawberry in the rain.
My early videos did not come out good to begin with. That's why I like deleted most of them.
Yeah, like
I delete some of mine. Like I kept the first one I did because I can't. I'm not afraid of showing.
if only we had
the worst
access to
video
the
I've ever-
greatest gaming,
Oh my god.
But
Okay,
I think
yeah.
I
no.
removed.
so we
That
could
was the
nuke
first
it
thing.
from orbit.
Yeah, I lost all the information for that. That's a story. Do we want to talk about that? Do I want to?
No,
Do I
no,
want to
no,
talk
no. I
about
don't
that?
want. No,
I
no,
think
no.
I think it would be interesting to have
Well,
it was
people are gonna
how
look
long
for-
ago was
people can
that?
look
That
for
was
it
like
now.
what between 6 and 8 years ago, I think. I think
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. That's old. That's like really old.
So like
Oh,
remember you had pitched Greatest Gaming like I had
Oh
released
yeah,
the
greatest
I
gaming.
Yeah.
I had released. I think at this point is actually the oldest video on my channel. I had just released that, and you had also drafted that,
Yeah. So
and so
okay.
that would have been a very
What
long time
about
ago.
wait? What
Yeah.
about
We could talk
wait?
about
What
this, I
about
guess.
pig video? The animated.
That was pre all of this.
Wait, the pig?
Yeah,
That was
yeah, yeah.
2013, I think, when that came out.
So
Oh, it's been 7 years.
Actually,
So,
I actually
yeah.
wrote a script
Yeah.
for redoing that video, but I never made it.
So the initial pitch was like, I guess, because it was something that I thought was really cool that I really wanted to do, right? But the initial pitch actually came to me from David. Actually, David's the one that initially proposed the idea to me, and I said, "Yeah, sure, we could try to do that."
Gaming.
Yeah, huh? Where like we could just all it'd be like one community channel where like a bunch of our friends at the time, right? Most of them are still here, would like play games, record a video, then like upload it, right? Like
It's kind of like the bugs thing, except that was like instantly died.
Yeah,
when we
that
started.
was short. That was
The
very
bugs.
short-lived.
yeah, like what is it? I think the two most active people on it were. I know that I was very active on that. I think Hewan was like kind of active on it as well, not too much though. But like that fell through very quickly. It was a lot of like, well, I think it was at the time we were what like in sixth grade or something like that. Like we just kind of didn't know what we are doing. Like
It was
We also,
Minecraft
we also
too,
didn't
right?
have
Yeah.
any kind of
No,
ability
it was
to
just
really,
any
like
game.
record and make
Oh.
something.
yeah, huh? Like
Well, I mean,
we
it
did
was
not have
probably
the tool.
mostly Minecraft because everyone at the beginning always makes a Minecraft channel.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is no escape. Like
Some people never
you
leave the
definitely made a
Minecraft.
Minecraft channel. Whoever's watching.
Yeah, like at that point we didn't really have access. Like we didn't really understand what we were doing. Like even to this point, I think to an extent that for the ones of us that are still like actively like making videos, you're still kind of learning. I don't think you have to really stop learning.
I don't even know what got me to make a second channel and edit harder. Like I think I just was like, maybe I should put more effort, and then I
Maybe I
just
should add more memes.
Yeah.
no, it wasn't even that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, okay, I know what inspired me to do like the meme edits. That was albino videos. Is like, ooh, that's funny. I should try that sometime,
Gungeon.
and I did. I think the first one was I think the first one was Gungeon, but it was like it wasn't
Isaac,
the clone
was
video.
it Isaac? Was it?
It wasn't the
not-
clone video.
Yeah.
Wait, on your main channel or?
Yeah. It's just I don't know what got me to make a new one. I think it was like
Wait, isn't the first video? Wait, on your new channel?
Yeah,
The
it's
ARAM
the
video?
ARAM one from
no, it's ARM one.
that was from
sounds
a
old.
long time. That was when
Yeah,
you're
that's the soy sauce one.
yeah, that's where the
Yeah.
soy sauce came from.
I
Like
don't think it. I still like the commentary on that video. It's just that I hated. I mean, our voices are high pitched.
My favorite one
Mhm.
from the old
Or my
videos is
voice is high pitched.
really short one where the championship's shaking your hand and it's like, nope.
Oh yeah. That
oh
was
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, that was
I
when
don't know if I
we
have
watched
that
the
one deleted
Worlds.
yet or not.
No, I think it's still up, right?
Okay. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing much. It's just a meme.
And
Yeah.
I like keep my stuff up because it took a long time to make, but I cannot watch it anymore.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I cannot bring myself to like rewatch it just because it always every time I look at it, it always looks worse than I imagined, and I imagine it getting progressively worse over time.
Yeah,
there's a
Like
couple of videos I
it's
did.
painful to look at now and to listen to.
yeah,
There's some
that's
videos I did like back in like 2017 where I'm like, this is cringy, but there's some moments where it's pretty funny. I'm actually sometimes proud of my old self. Like, hey, that was a good joke. I'm glad you did that. But everything else sucked. Everything else was awful.
yeah. Like when I started doing this
I'm just
stuff, I just kind of threw whatever I had up on there. That was like really bad habit of mine. So when eventually I jumped channels to where I am now, right? Because this channel was built with the idea of like making like animations of like pretty decent quality.
Digimon.
Yeah, it was originally called what denouement, uh, where we would do animated things, just general animation stuff. Because I went from playing Minecraft, making really cringy Minecraft videos, to making cringy Minecraft animations, to
Oh
making
hell yeah.
cringy animations, to
Oh,
now doing like
Ender anim.
more arts. Oh my god, don't even. Right, where I'm doing like more general art stuff now. Where like I try to like take a look at like maybe like something I like a little bit more critically, or like trying to make something that looks nice. There's actually an animation that my first animation in a very long time that I would like actually upload as like an animation within itself rather than just like a test reel. That's something that I've been sitting on. I haven't done it yet because I've been working on the other stuff. The Jojo video that I just released was what I was primarily working on. But like I try to police the quality of what I make a lot more now, which is one of the reasons why I don't upload a lot. So uh, unless I genuinely believe that it could be really good, or that it's something that I really want to talk about, then I just I scrap it because I've had at least like maybe 10 different video scripts that I've at least partially worked on before deciding that this isn't good. Like I don't like this.
I think I may be able because sometimes I feel like I want to get back to animation even though I'm not an artist. But I think one thing that I noticed happened to my content is it started getting a lot more complicated, but the benefit to doing that, well, there wasn't one really. If you look at like the scene complexity of like the original one, I mean, I was using the hardware I was using got better, but it's like you look at like the story quality, it's probably about the same, but the amount of cost to make each scene just went through the roof, and that's probably why I
that's
stopped
kind of
doing
what's
it.
happening with me. Like, if you watch my Ori video, I put so
Yeah,
many memes in
I don't remember
editing.
if you remember the desert temple video, but there's one shot in that video that has 10 million faces, like polygonal faces. It's like there's no reason for that. Other than
I
I wanted to do a really long shot for some reason, and that was a pain to render. The computers kept having issues with that one. It's like and it's on screen for like less than a second. That was the kicker. It wasn't like some
Was it worth it?
long cinematic shot like Breath of the Wild. No, it was part of I was part of a camera pan, and it just goes by.
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
right now. Like the current animation that I'm working on, I've been trying to like push like what I've been doing, and I think for me like pushing like what I do in terms of my animations, it benefits me a lot more than it would benefit you because you're looking to go into like a completely different field, uh, right? Like I am looking to go into like an animation field, uh, like I have this. It's a short kind of action thing. I'm playing with transitions. I'm playing with camera angles. But the biggest thing is I have a camera rotate a full 360 degrees in like basically final shot of the. It's gonna be like maybe a minute long at most. Uh, but it's gonna be a disaster for me to like fully animate it. Like because
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for those who don't know, like this is gonna be a 2D hand drawn thing, and I'd have to redraw every frame. It's gonna be
Fun.
difficult.
that's one thing I noticed about like complexity of like 3D and 2D. It was made like it was a Rage comic. So this is very old, but it was like complexity, like how hard it is to do different things. And it's like do a um, do a 360-degree turn in 3D. It's like super easy. In hand drawn, it's like terrifying. But it's like make a character in 2D. It's really easy. In 3D, it's a colossal headache.
Hell.
Yeah, the idea behind 3D is like if you just do all the work up front, it'll be a lot easier to work like with animating from that point onwards. Like when you work with 2D is, you see a lot of like 2D like animated things. The camera tends to be locked a lot more, and that's because it makes it so the artists don't have to redraw the backgrounds. Uh, right, like
Yeah.
But I'm very glad that the game I'm working on has Ethan as an artist. Because have you seen programmers draw things? I mean, you have. That's how we get like
Rickroll.
open source software. But like things like Vegas or lots of these high end programs, they don't really have artists, and so they look like garbage.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
the bad
and-
UI.
When I try to like design something in 3D, it always ends up looking like vertex soup, which is why. But as soon as Ethan gave me those those orthogonal drawings, it's like, oh, I can just bang out this model because someone else drew this. I can
Yeah.
make this now.
because I think what's working really well for us is like I don't know how to use like Unity or whatever, right? Like, but you know how to use it very well, so I could kind of like give you the like blueprints to basically something, and then you have the skill to like take what I kind of thought up and to make it like an actual thing that I could like
Yeah, this is exactly how normal studios work. They have concept artists, and then they have people who make the game.
yeah, it's
And-
beautiful.
It's
I,
beautiful.
I still have to, because this game studio is 2.5 people currently, but if we can train
Yeah.
Ethan on how to use giddens and all the tools, then we can have 3 people.
Yeah.
The thing is, just right now, I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on currently as well. So I don't know if I'll come on more as more than as a concept artist because I'm trying to work on a comic right now. I'm working a lot in like what's it called? Doing physical drawing. I'm working on trying to make certain YouTube videos because it's something I find a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that we do need a lot of animations, and my animation skill is just mediocre at best. But you're actually studying animation, and so you can help us out a lot with your expertise.
Yeah, I think even for like a game like this, there's not going to be a lot of. There's not going to be too many different like super complex visible animations, so I
Yeah,
should be able to
yeah,
do that
of
pretty
course.
easily.
There's like menus and stuff, and like little animations for like when shooting and taking damage and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Like the
lots
UI
lots
kind
of
of
little
thing.
things. Oh yeah, this is a UI. So this is kind of something that kind of angers me. So Unity has a UI system, right? Make buttons and switches and levers. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one problem though. We couldn't get it to work with touchscreen, which is a
Oh.
problem because we wanted it to work on touchscreen. And I know it is possible, but the way people seem to do it makes you have to do most of the buttons work for it, like figuring out where the tap is, figuring out if it's inside the button, and then tell the button to click. Well, at that point, you wrote a button. So what we did was we wrote our own UI framework using 3D objects. And then we realized, hey, look, we implemented Canvas in 3D, and it's not better. But we have this now, and we're gonna use it for the main UI. But we found out ours is worse in some cases, and so we have to use Canvas anyways.
Feels bad, man. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on a second. You guys keep talking.
I do
Let's
want to
just
learn
not talk.
Unity. Yeah, let's just not. Let's be mean and not say
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, you were working on a game, right? At least briefly.
I was practicing some game maker, but I do think I should do Unity instead because it's more. There's more stuff you can do.
Yeah, and also you don't have to pay for it while you're working on it.
Yeah.
So you do have to pay for it when you release.
Well, I mean, okay. Here's the thing. I mean, game maker is just a one-time pay. It's not like a
That's
monthly
true.
thing.
I feel like it's better to make the product before like make something and get it out there before like actually like choosing like if you want whether you want to do this or that.
Well, unfortunately, you have to choose where you want to do this or that before you make it.
Yeah.
That
One of my game,
determines
one of my
what
game
tools you have.
concepts, I think, doesn't
True.
require that much work.
I mean, like,
but or
Oh,
not
alright.
not work, but like it doesn't require like anything really
Like,
complicated.
complexity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of regret using Unity for tanks because Unity has a couple of problems we keep running into. The first one, and this doesn't affect everyone, but it affects us because we're actually trying to write software like well. That's not always a priority for Unity developers. But what happens is because of this kind of attachment system that they've got going on, it makes it difficult to structure code in a reasonable way. And the other problem is that Unity likes to deprecate features without having replacements. Like for example, they got rid of their networking library, but their replacement has syntax errors in it, and we can't use it. Literally, it has syntax errors, doesn't compile.
Huh.
And so
That's
we're
weird.
stuck between networking libraries, and then the one we're using now has a bug, and it doesn't. And so we can't connect more than 2 clients before it starts having problems, um, and it doesn't scale that well. And so we chose Unity because at the time the person I'm working with didn't know C++ at all,
Mhm.
and so Unreal Engine was a bad choice for him because you have to learn C++. And so we're like, okay, we'll just use Unity. But now we're realizing, Unreal has a competent networking stack. We could have used that. They don't just delete things randomly without, you know, having a replacement in place and things like that. And so, of course, we can't switch now because we've done enough work that switching engines would be a destructive change.
Yeah. I guess Unity's just something. I mean, I haven't tried it enough to really know, but it seems fine. It's just I think just everyone hates it, or everyone's like against it because bad games come out of it because it's so
Yeah,
easy
that's
to
one
work
thing.
with.
This is how Unity shoots itself in the foot. So, you know that made with Unity kind of watermark?
Oh yeah,
That comes with the free version only. And
yeah,
so
I know about
that's how
that.
they're trying to like brand and share their engine. Well, unfortunately, the people who don't pay for the engine are the people who make garbage. And so made
Yeah,
with Unity is now associated with garbage. And so they've
yeah,
achieved the opposite of what they set out to do.
Rip.
Versus on the flip side, if you see made with Unreal Engine, developers actually can't use the Unreal Engine logo unless there's some relationship going on, which means if you see made with Unreal Engine, it means that Epic Games is sponsoring the development of that game, and so they're actually paying the developers to put that logo on there. And so if you see made with Unreal, the assumption is that it's actually a good game because it's actually have a high profile thing is happening. Of course, that doesn't always happen, but it's the opposite effect that's happening.
yeah. I see. That's interesting. Didn't really think of that.
Hmm. What's the end game goal for like your game? Like, are you planning on putting it on some? Are you gonna put it on your website and have like a showcase for it or something, or are you planning on going further?
I think he's
Plan for a PC Steam release
Ooh,
and maybe iOS,
are you
but
gonna run into
Mac
copyright
App Store.
infringement?
no, and because we're redesigning everything, so
Redesigning it?
fundamentally the game
Yeah, your
will be
reverse
a different.
engineering is technically not
Okay.
What we did was
like
we studied that's our inspiration, but what we then are doing is we're changing fundamentally how you play the game. I mean, it still harkens back to combat and the Wii game, but when you play the game, you're not playing a rehash of those games. You're playing a new game, and
Mhm.
so it looks different, plays different. There's no grounds for any kind of copyright there, and
yeah,
we don't use any of the IPs held of other companies because obviously we can't do that. So
Good.
that's why we're allowed to do a Steam release.
Interesting.
If we
very
kept our
good.
current design, then there's no way we'd be able to do a Steam release because even though it looks a lot nicer than the Wii game, it still looks like the Wii game, and so we
Yeah.
can't ship it like that.
Yeah, you got that.
That's why we're working with Ethan to get new designs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so what
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna be working on next is currently we have a design for like the base tank settled down. That was what Ravi ended up modeling. I sent him the orthographic drawings of that, uh, and we're gonna start or eventually at some point. I don't know exactly when we're gonna start designing the individual different tanks as well.
Yeah, we also need to. I think the main thing, probably next priority is level artwork. Just because once we have that, then we can actually start giving alphas to people. Because then we'll have removed all of the, I guess, copyrighted, well, not really copyrighted, but like copyright possibility differentness from it. It will look different. It will play different. So therefore, it's now different. And so then we can start getting test builds out to people.
Yeah.
That's probably our next priority.
Okay, well, I have to go now.
All
How long
right.
have we been
Yeah.
recording?
It's about an hour and 12 minutes, so we could probably wrap it up here.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's good leg.
All right.
Okay. Anything you guys want to say?
Subscribe
Right.
to Clay.
Oh, simping.
All
If
right.
anyone watching writes fanfiction, you should write the thing that we proposed.
No, you really shouldn't.
Okay. So
Go directly to jail. Do not pass go.
thank you for joining me today, boys. I guess something that if we've been having some trouble thinking of certain topics, so if anyone has any questions, I guess, or anything you guys want us to talk about, we could always put that in like in comments or whatever, and put that in another video. That's I don't know, because these videos don't get as much audience engagement as some of my other stuff, or your stuff most definitely, but it's pretty easy to make and it's fun to make. So I guess whatever. Uh, anyway, thank you, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.